All right. Good morning or afternoon, depending on which side of the Eastern Central time zone you're on. The Irish Hammer here with you. Going to take a look at week 2 college football schedule. Got some pretty decent games for a lot of non-conference action going on, a few conference games. And then we'll take a look at last week's huge week, going 24-6 on the bets that were given out on the podcast. So pretty excited to come back with some winners. And then we'll take a quick peek at last night's Thursday night football game that offered a lot of excitement and chatter and controversy. So be joined shortly by my good buddy LooseBets. He's going to come on and give his best plays. You may or may not have already seen Joshy Betts and I on giving some games for the week 2 slate. I've got a few bonus plays I'm going to give out, and then we'll see if we can put together a couple little parlays for some extra money. So let's just take a quick look. Last night, Thursday night football, the Cowboys and the defending champion Philadelphia Eagles in Philly. And before the game ever got started, before we had a first official snap of the football, we've got Jalen Carter spitting on Dak Prescott. And then upon further review, we find out that Dak sort of spat in Jalen's direction. So, of course, now everybody's saying, eye for an eye or saliva for saliva, whatever. But I think there's a big difference between spitting at the ground in someone's direction and spitting on somebody. So neither of those two things should have happened. These are both grown men, professional athletes that make millions of dollars a year. We should have quit spitting on people in kindergarten. So both of you just grow up, play football, and keep that nonsense out of the game. And obviously Jalen Carter gets ejected, and that kind of opened the door a little bit for this non-existent Dallas running game that we saw. Somewhat productive. I mean, no crazy numbers out there, but yeah, we still had Javonte Williams, went over his rushing yards prop, got 2 touchdowns on the ground in the first half. And I think we're going to have to put the Batman signal out for the Philadelphia wide receivers, because A.J. Brown and Devonta Smith had about 25 yards combined last night. A.J. didn't even get a target until the second half. And I don't know what Philly's approach to the season is. I kind of expected the opposite. I didn't expect them to run Saquon as much because of the number of touches he got last year. But that certainly wasn't the case last night. And they're going to need wide receivers to get involved in that offense sooner than later. It's going to be tough to rely just on Jalen Hurts and Saquon Barkley to fuel your offense. Dallas Goedert had a pretty good night, had a lot of catches, some decent yards. But overall, if you didn't have Javonte Williams or Saquon Barkley or Jalen Hurts, your fantasy team last night was pretty much a bust. So I don't think that's what the game script that most of us expected, but that's certainly what we got. So probably going to have to evaluate both of those teams a little differently going forward. All right, so I'm not exactly sure what just happened. Looks like my camera decided to vacate the premises. Welcome to live TV. Hey, what's up, Ferris? Glad you could tune in. Bear with me here, folks. Technical difficulties. I mean, I know I'm not the greatest thing in the world to look at, but I sometimes like to see me just to make sure I'm still. Hey, there we go. That just got weird. Everything was fine till Ferris showed up. Let me see. All kinds of problems here. Yes, I know. Thank you. All right. All right, there we go. Back amongst the living here with you. Ferris, what'd you do? All right, so week 2. All right, we may have to change the camera here. Not sure what is going on. I mean, I know I'm ugly. I get it. All right, we're going to go with the good old laptop camera because the high def camera is just not working. So anyway, man, I tell you, can't have nothing nice in this world. All right, so before I get to week 2, I just want to do a quick recap of last week. If you're watching this, you're probably following me on Twitter, so you've probably seen the numbers, but I'm just going to run down the results in case anybody is here new or just tuning in to grab a few picks, which is perfectly fine. I don't mind. I simply just ask, follow me on Twitter and subscribe to the podcast. That is the only fee I'll ever charge for giving out these plays because I just don't believe in it. I see people charging $20, $30, $40, $50 a month. I see a couple people that I'm actually associated with on here charging $400 and $500 for the season. And that's just not me, man. All these casinos, all these sport books, they got a hell of a lot more money than any of us do. And so if we can just get a little chunk of it, I'm all for it. But I would simply ask, please subscribe. If you make any of the plays or, make any money on it, give me a shout out, whatever. I want to win with you. So last week, all these plays came from the podcast. I had South Florida plus 6.5, the Boise State USF game under 63.5, South Florida money line, East Carolina plus 14.5, Ohio plus 14.5, Buffalo plus 18.5, Cincinnati plus 6.5, the Nebraska-Cincinnati total under 54, Wagner to cover 46.5, Georgia Tech to win by 4, the OSU-Texas game under 48.5, Ohio State money line, that came in late, but I did make that official. Utah minus 5.5, they just absolutely peppered UCLA's ass. You love to see it. Tennessee minus 13.5, laddered that all the way to 19.5. Tennessee won by 19. So did miss one rung on the ladder, but still cashed all the way up to 18.5. Utah minus 5.5. Utah UCLA under minus 52.5. I already gave that, sorry. And then TCU minus 3.5. So all those winners we gave out on the podcast last week between me and Joshy Boy. Unfortunately, Luce and I couldn't work it out because of my travel schedule. But we'll get him in here in just a few minutes and let him give some plays. Now, I love to celebrate the winners, but I'm as transparent and honest as I can be. Stand on truth, speak truth. Totally missed the Western Illinois plus 45.5. Illinois laid boots to ass in that one. Baylor money line, Auburn, tip of the hat. Y'all showed up and showed out. I'm still not sold, but good job last week. South Dakota, plus 15.5. They got completely destroyed. I did have UCLA and Utah under 52.5. That was a hook. They scored 53. So I apologize. I misspoke on that one. Toledo money line. That was more of a fun poke at my buddies over at the Heavy Pour podcast. Y'all need to check them out if you don't already. Great podcast, great guys. I love hanging out with them. Toledo did cover. They just didn't pull off the upset. And then, of course, that minus 19.5 for Tennessee. So you'll never hear me complain about a 24-6 week, no matter what it is. So hopefully we can deliver some similar results this week with these plays that we're going to offer up. Some things I covered while we're waiting on Loose to show. Some things I covered with Josh. Some best bets that I like. I love Maryland this week, minus 17.5 against Northern Illinois. Malik Washington has looked every bit as good as advertised for Maryland. And he only ran the ball one time. A lot of people were concerned about him being that dual threat and running more than passing. He didn't. He hung in there. He made some great throws. And Northern Illinois struggled to beat Holy Cross last week. They only scored one offensive touchdown against Holy Cross. Yeah, that school up there in the Northeast. I think Maryland absolutely rolls them. I like Pitt, minus 22.5 against Central Michigan. They absolutely blew the doors off of Duquesne last week, 61-9. But what really impressed me about Pitt last week was their defense. They only allowed 37 total yards on the ground on 31 carries. So y'all do the math. That's barely 1 yard a carry. So their defense is, especially the run defense, has proven to be pretty stellar. And Central Michigan, that's their bread and butter, is running the football. So I think Pitt rolls in this game. Minus 22.5 is a little bit bigger number than what I like to get involved with on the favorite side. Central Michigan only won last week against San Jose State because San Jose State missed 2 field goals. Otherwise, they would have lost. Pitt rolls this one. Also like Ole Miss, minus 10. I think it's down to 9.5 I saw this morning in some places. So any little advantage you can get there. But I think Ole Miss just absolutely takes Kentucky to the woodshed. The under 50.5 is kind of in play for me. Not making that an official play, but I am leaning on the under because I think Ole Miss is going to do most of the heavy lifting. I don't see Kentucky scoring a whole lot in this game. Their wide receivers combined last week had 4 catches for 12 yards, similar to what Philadelphia did last night. So, and that was against Toledo. Ole Miss rolls. And then I also like, a bit of an upset. I like Virginia to cover the 2.5, but I also like Virginia just straight up money line against NC State. I just think the wrong team's favored here. East Carolina put 383 yards in the air against against NC State last week. And I just think Chandler Morris is going to cook this defense again this week. So give me Virginia cover and give me Virginia straight up on the money line. And then the last one that I gave out that I'm going to talk about right now, we'll finish discussing that whenever Luce joins the show. I've also got Sam Houston State versus Hawaii. I like Sam Houston. I got it at 7.5. It opened at 8.5. I think it's down to 6.5 now. So it's definitely moved in the right direction. The big story here is Micah Alejado, the quarterback from Hawaii that everybody fell in love with week 0 for his gutty play and just his poise and leadership out there, he's out. So we've got a JUCO transfer that is going to play quarterback for Hawaii, and all he did was throw 2 picks, get sacked, and lose a fumble. So I know the Sam Houston pass defense is a little suspect, but I think their offense is good enough to keep them in this game. I mean, I'd love to tell you, take them outright on the money line. Safe play here, I think, is they can cover a touchdown against a struggling backup quarterback. I know the travel piece in there, it's a long way from Texas to Hawaii, but that didn't seem to make much of a factor last week. So let me see, what else can we talk about for week 2? We do have a couple big games on this slate. We've got the border war between Iowa State and Iowa. Got a couple plays I'm going to throw out on that one. And then we've also got, Iowa State, Iowa. That's not the border war. Sorry. That's the in-state war. Missouri and Kansas is the border war. That's what happens when you put 2 games that close together and then write border war in on your notes. Anyway, Missouri and Kansas is the border war. I don't have an official play on this game. I'm going to wait and see which side of things Loose is leaning, but I've got a lean, and I'm not very happy about it. I tried to talk myself out of it, but I just can't because there's some issues with one of these teams that I'm a little bit hung up on right now, and I can't quite talk myself off the ledge to go against them. We've also got a neat little matchup down in Gainesville between the South Florida Bulls and the Lot Lizards. Alex Golish making a trip to Gainesville to take on the Sunbelt Billy-led Gators. Got a couple plays on that I really like as well. And then a few bonus plays that I haven't mentioned that I'm going to give out. And I've got an upset special money line parlay that is going to pay a pretty little penny if some things goes our way. Loose needs the link. Did Loose oh. All right. So the technical difficulty continues. I sent Loose the link, and it didn't go through. So now it's confirmed through. Loose should be joining us anytime. I wish Ferris was physically here on camera with us. I'd have him sing us a song or do us a little dance or just be present. That's entertaining enough. In case y'all missed it, we did a little fantasy show last night, and unfortunately we had some technical difficulty there as well. So I'm not sure if it's just bad luck or maybe I need to.
You got me?
Now, Loose,
can you hear me?
Show. Yeah, Loose, I got you, brother.
Okay.
I apologize. I sent the link before I ever went live and then just realized that it didn't go through. So my apologies, my friend.
That's all right, man. I was running a few minutes behind anyway, but I was stuck in limbo for a little bit.
Yeah, no, that's fair save the day.
That's all good.
I just said that on recorded.
Oh man, that's recorded. He's gonna have that for forever now.
Hey, he's here live with us, so
yeah,
I'm never gonna hear the end of this.
Nope.
Well, man, it is great to be back with you.
Yes, sir.
Friday. I hate that we couldn't do this last week, but I was traveling en route to Biloxi, Mississippi to go pilfer money from those losers down there. And so great trip. Had a lot of fun.
Yeah.
But it is good to be here with you talking some college football. So
Did you come out green?
I did.
A little bit.
I made about a $650 deposit in my bank account when we got back.
All right, that's not bad. Bad.
Yeah, I was pretty happy. It should have been more, of course, but we did have to eat and rent a schooner and entertain ourselves some beyond just me gambling and whatnot.
Right.
But man, I'll tell you, Mrs. Hammer's the one though. I can't really take the credit for it. She's the one that plays $3 and wins 120. So really, it's not me. But anyway, all right. Well, I kind of recapped how we did last week, and that magnificent, that would be something Ferris would say.
You guys actually killed it last week.
We had, man, that was I would say it's 1 in a million. I hope it's not. I hope it's a weekly occurrence. But if we can just get close to that this week,
what was that? 20? Was it? Were you 21-6 or something?
I was 21-3.
21-3. My goodness.
And we ended up 24-6 collectively because Josh and I, just like you and I mean, we don't really talk that much offline about what we're gonna play. So he had several plays that I had as well. So we kind of just combined those together. But we both certainly came out ahead, and just a tremendous week overall.
Yeah,
so,
that's fantastic. Anybody who's been playing this game for any amount of time would know, like, that's not just a good week, that's phenomenal.
Yeah, it was probably one of the better weeks I've ever had. I've had some bigger hits, but as far as just sheer winners, man, I tell you, I was I swept the Thursday slate. I swept it 8-0. So nobody could tell me shit going down to Biloxi on Friday, brother. Let me tell you, I was hard to deal with on Friday. But I've given out a handful of plays, recapped what I covered on Wednesday evening with Josh. I do have a few bonus plays that I haven't shared with anybody yet. And anything that you touch on that I bet we'll kind of talk through. But I'm basically going to just give you the floor because I've had my time and we missed out last week. So I want you to talk about whatever you want to talk about, share whatever you want to share, and help some folks win some money this weekend. So Luke, buddy, it's all you.
Yeah. So I haven't really dove tremendously deep into the slate this week. We talked a little bit earlier this week about some that you were looking at. I'm guessing you said you've already gone over those, which is fine. I threw some back at you, so I'll get into those. The first one that I can remember right off the top of my head, because I'm gonna have to go back into our messages to see what I even loved. But the first one I remember off the top of my head was that Texas State game that we got coming up. It's Texas State and
UTSA.
Oh my gosh, who are they playing? Is UTSA, right?
UTSA, yeah.
And UTSA is UTSA is catching 2.5 points on them, right?
Let's see what the latest and greatest is. I've got it pulled up here. I thought it was 4.5 when I got it.
Okay.
But let's confirm.
Yeah, that'd be much better. When I saw it yesterday, at one point at least, it was at 2.5, which doesn't surprise me if it's moved from 4.5. I mean, I'm almost surprised that that's not just a straight up pick'em game.
Yeah, right here. And most people watching on their phones not going to be able to read this, but I've got it up on the screen. It's Texas State plus 4.5 at -120. And the total is 64.5. So I don't think the total has moved, but yeah, nope. Texas San Antonio is actually a heavier favorite now.
Okay. Actually, I love that. Okay, because the play that I was liking yesterday was the over 64.5, which I still do
Yeah,
like that a lot. I mean, these are two teams that don't play a whole lot of defense and do play a whole lot of offense. I wouldn't be surprised if if one of the teams comes out with 50 plus in that game.
I can see it. I can see one of these teams getting close to 50.
But the with that spread moving to 4.5, I'm going to go ahead and take Texas State at plus 4.5. I like that a lot. I will take the over as well. Um, but I'll say that my favorite now is that plus 4.5. I thought we had 2.5, which I could definitely see this ending up being a field goal game.
Yeah, and I don't understand why the line would move. If we look at what both teams did last week, there is nothing about the way UTSA played that makes me believe or have any confidence in their ability to blow out Texas State. So,
Right. Give me 1 second, real quick. Let me pull up my screen.
yeah, man, go right ahead. And I think the money line, if you want to get, money line is if you really believe Texas State in this game, the money line is plus 140.
Yeah. No, that. I have no problem taking that money line either. We talked about them already earlier this year as being one of our. I guess they're not even really a dark horse, but they're our favorite over in in their conference for this season. They just got a good team. They play good offense. Um, these kind of games you don't get a lot of defense, but
No.
I wouldn't mind sprinkling some on the money line, but I'll definitely be taking that plus 4.5. All right, let's move
Yeah, four
on.
four and a half seems pretty generous.
Yeah, are you playing any games tonight?
I don't have one game, I think. Yes, I am on, and I am involved in the James Madison Louisville game.
Okay,
Do
you
you have
got you
anything
got.
with that?
Do you have JMU?
I do.
You do.
Yeah.
I think that's a decent play. I personally don't have a lean either way there, but 14.5 is always kind of a weird line.
It's kind of ratty, as
Um,
we like to say. It's a fishy line.
right.
I actually
JMU,
bet it early in the week. I got them at 13 and a half, which,
right.
that's the risk you take betting early is you try to get ahead of those odd movements. But this one, I guess, kind of bit me. But here's the reason. I think James Madison, this is a very experienced team, and they are not scared to play
Right.
Power Four opponents. I mean, we saw when they came in up to FBS level, all they did was go blow through their conference,
Yeah.
and especially defense. They've got a lot of upperclassmen on this defense. And the thing that concerned me about Louisville, which I'm a believer in Brom, I'm a believer in them as a little bit of a dark horse, but they turned the ball over 3 times last week, and they had 12
Yeah.
penalties. And that was
That's
Eastern
that's ugly.
Kentucky, dude. It's not like they were playing a power
Yeah.
team. So
Right.
you can't – if you do that against James Madison, they'll just flat out beat you.
The James Madison team has a lot of the experienced guys from Navy last year.
Yes. Yeah.
They got 4 or 5 transfers from Navy. Yeah, JMU, that's the right play in that game. I like it. I'm not going to take it, but I like it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
Um,
not a big premier marquee type game. It's probably not one that's going to see a ton of action outside of maybe people associated with either of those programs. But that number, man, 2 touchdowns. It will take Louisville's probably best game to beat James Madison by 2 touchdowns. So
let's see. The one that I like the most going into this week or tonight, I guess. I'm split between taking the Northern Illinois or taking Eastern Washington. That's a big spread for Eastern Washington, 31.5. I know Eastern Washington's not good, but man, Boise couldn't get anything going last week against USF.
No, they couldn't. And I actually have a note on this game. I didn't make it an official play. Let me see. I put notes everywhere, stickies and note papers, napkins in my work truck, on my phone. What did I say about this? Boise come out flat. Might take a while to get going. They've got weakness on the defensive side. And they get a lead, bring in some guys off the bench. Yeah, I
like these. I like taking Eastern Washington in this game. I'm not confident that Boise can put the ball in the end zone that much. You know, they look handicapped without Ginty.
Yeah, and that was kind of the big question that I had last week. That's one reason I really liked South Florida. You know, with playing at home, the weather, we didn't know what was gonna do, and then we didn't know what Boise State was going to look like without Ginty, and apparently neither does Boise State.
Yeah, for sure.
Because they were terrible in that game.
They were not good. So yeah, I'm going to take Eastern Washington tonight. That's the one
I like to throw shekels on like 6-leg teasers.
Yeah.
I would get that somewhere in the 35.5, 36.5 realm. I think I may throw that in on a teaser play. I'm not gonna bet that straight up, but I will definitely include that.
What do you like to? What kind of odds do you like to tease? Like, do you shoot for minus 200-ish or 300, or do you care?
I usually get on a 6-leg teaser somewhere in the plus 550.
Okay. Well, I mean, for each individual leg.
Oh, for each leg? I generally don't like to pay anything more than like $1.50 in any kind of parlay, whether it's a teaser or whether it's just a regular, parlay piece.
Yeah.
Because I think anything outside of that, you're asking for trouble.
Yeah.
Because it waters down the value, and a lot of times, like we'll see a lot of 125s, 130s that'll come through. Sometimes I'll buy half a point either way. Like if it's a 2.5 play, like on that Baylor SMU game, that's 2.5. I might buy Baylor up to plus 3 and add that to a parlay, which will put it about a minus 125, somewhere in that neighborhood. So
you can get Eastern Washington at 35.5 here, but it's minus 200. So
yeah, that's why I would have to include that in. I would have to include that in a
teaser.
In a teaser, because you take the the 6 points or the 4 points either way, depending on which way you're playing it, and then it's got to be something I'm pretty confident in to put it in a teaser, because all ties lose. So it's not like a regular parlay where if it's a tie, it's just a wash and they take it out of the equation. Teasers, you either win or you don't. So I've got to be pretty confident in it. But looking at Eastern Washington and how bad Boise played, it's tough to win on the Smurf turf, though. I will say that.
Yeah, right.
They should not be allowed to wear blue jerseys or pants on that field, man. That's just
I really don't think it matters. I have no confidence in their ability to score.
I think you're right. Based on what we saw last week, I mean, they scored 7 freaking points, man.
Yeah. All right, let's move on to Saturday. Did you go over the Duke and Illinois game at all?
I did not. I did not touch
You
on
did
that
not.
one.
Yeah.
I have a lean on it, but
Yeah.
I haven't spoken to it. So by all
So
means.
that's kind of the first, I guess you could call it a bigger game of the day, because you got Illinois coming in at number 11 versus the unranked Duke Blue Devils. Both are 1-0, and by all means and purposes, it looks like everybody has a pretty big expectation for Illinois this season. Um, a lot of that leans on Altmaier and expecting that he's pretty good, which I'd say he played good last weekend, but it's against a nobody. So I haven't seen enough from this Duke team to think that they're worth just 2.5 points. It is at home for them, but I think Illinois walks away with this one fairly handily.
Okay. There's a contingency out there that's riding this Duke train pretty hard.
Yeah.
And is it still 3.5?
I'm seeing 2.5 actually.
Yeah, I think a lot of money came in because it opened at 3.5.
Yeah.
Yep, I'm seeing it here as well. This tells you the story. Duke plus 2.5 is plus 100.
Right.
If you go Duke plus 3.5, it probably flips to like minus 130. So yeah, I think this, everybody believes this game is coming down to a field goal. Duke is plus 125 on the money line if you are a Duke believer. And I like Duke at plus 3.5.
Yeah, 3.5 is 130.
Yeah. I don't know. I guess I kind of want to believe that Duke can win this game outright playing at home against what I think is a little bit overhyped Illinois team.
Right. I agree on the overhype. Don't get me wrong. I definitely agree on the overhype.
Yeah, for sure.
I just don't. I think both teams are overhyped. If that's what I'm getting at,
But see, yeah, that's Luce. That's where I'm with you. Is I think both these teams are getting some smoke blown up our skirt.
Mm-hmm.
Because Illinois lost Pat Bryant and Zachariah, Franklin, their two wide receivers. They lost both those guys to the NFL. So I just think he's going to struggle when he has to throw the football. I think he's going to struggle, and I think Duke's defense is good enough to keep him in check. So,
yeah.
But I don't know, man. I like that 3.5 a whole lot better. If I bet anything on this game, it's going to be Duke money line.
3.5. Yeah. Okay.
I'll just take Duke flat out to win.
Yeah. I'll stick with my lean. I like taking Illinois minus 2.5. 120. That's good odds for me. And if I were to see any unexpected outcome, I'd lean more towards Illinois blowing this one wide open than I would see Duke blowing it wide open.
And I think that's right. I don't think I don't think it's realistic to expect Duke to blow out Illinois.
Right.
Right. Whereas to your point, yeah, Altmaier gets hot and they, get the defense on their heels with, mixing up the play calling. Yeah. I mean, if Illinois is as good as people have told us they are in the offseason, then that's probably the case if this game gets out of hand. So, all right, what else you got for us on Saturday?
The last thing I'm going to say about that game is that Elon did actually put 17 points up on Duke, and a lot of that happened in the second half. I mean, yeah, they probably put their backups in. They scored 10 in the second quarter. They gave up a fairly decent amount of rushing yards, and that's where I think Illinois is underrated. They've got a pretty good rushing attack this year that really wasn't consistent for them last year.
Yeah,
So
and
I
I
think
think they focused more on pass last year with those two
right,
stud
and
receivers.
they still will, but they can be sneaky good in the run game, just kind of like us. So anyway, that's all I wanted to say about that game.
Okay, what else we got?
The next one, I'll go ahead and it's a little bit later in the day, but I'll go ahead and jump over to the Memphis game because that's another one that I was liking.
Yeah. I know
Oh, and
you had mentioned you liked something in that game, and it kind of got
right.
me interested.
And this the one that I took last week, I took Memphis first half over 27.5. Not Memphis alone, but game total over
Yeah,
27.5. And I mean, Tigers marched it down the field every time they touched the ball. So
yeah, they were scoring at will.
now this game is at Georgia State, and Memphis does tend to struggle on the road more than they do at the Liberty Bowl. But I still like this first half total. I'm actually seeing it at 29.5 here. Yesterday it was 28.5. I don't think that 1 point is really going to matter. Both of these teams can score.
Yeah, I am trying to find the latest lines on this game. Bear with me. Here we go. So we got Memphis minus 13.5 and a 57.5 total.
Mm-hmm.
First half, Memphis is now, this was 6.5, I believe. It is now up to Memphis minus 7.5.
Yeah. Get a
with
little
a first
plus
half
money
total
on it.
of 29.5.
Mm-hmm.
So moved to touch. So a lot of other people liked your play too.
I'm still riding the over, even if it is at 29.5. I think these teams easily get there.
At 57.5 for a game total, and it's pretty much a coin flip. Minus 106, minus 114. So not much difference there. So we got to, for this over to clear, it's got to get to 58. So 30 in the first half doesn't seem outrageous to me.
Yeah. Do you like that full game total better than the first half?
I think I do, just simply because we're getting some value in the second half of the game. And I will say Memphis, because I think that's what happens. If Memphis gets up a couple scores, they may get a little lax on defense. They may start rotating some guys in, and I think that gives Georgia State an opportunity to score some garbage time points.
Mm-hmm.
So between the two, I think I like the full game total better, but that's not to say I don't like the first half total, because again, if Memphis starts hot, I mean, they can score 3 touchdowns in the first quarter.
Right. Oh yeah, they can.
I mean, they
got a powerful offense.
They do. They could. I mean, if they score 4 touchdowns or 3 touchdowns and a field goal, then all we need is a touchdown and a field goal out of Georgia State.
Right. And
Georgia
State should put up at least 10 in the first half, I think.
I think so. I think Georgia State can score on Memphis, because we obviously know Memphis predicated around its offense. They just don't play a whole lot of defense. Period.
Not a lot of defense.
Right.
Not
so man, this could be a track meet early, and it
that's
could
what
be
I'm expecting. That's why I like the first half. Is especially even last week we saw them really let off the gas in the second half.
We did. Yeah, that game they could have probably scored three more times in that game. So if this stays close, and it possibly could in the first half, and I say close, I mean within the spread, within 2 touchdowns, then I think they keep their foot on the gas second half. So I kind of like both of them, to be honest, Luce.
Yeah, right.
I like the first half and
I don't
full
think you
game.
could go wrong with that.
I don't think so. I don't think so. I think you talked me into it.
All right. That's what I'm here for.
That's right. That's right.
Let's see. Moving on. We already talked about Texas State. Did you already took USF over? You already took the USF spread, right?
I have USF plus 17.5, and
Yeah.
I have over
56.5.
I got it at 52.5, homie.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Is it up to 56 now?
56.5.
Woo! I know there's going to be some points
That's
scored in this one. Yeah, I grabbed it.
That's a pick 'em.
I think I grabbed it Tuesday.
Man, South Florida, what impressed me the most about them last week was their defense. Man, they were
Yes.
flying all over the field. They were fast, and I mean they looked good. And if you looked at that Florida game, I know they blew FIU out, but Lagway didn't do anything to look impressive to me.
No.
His
No. That
QBR was like
game, the score did not
30.
tell the story of that game.
No, he was
He looked
very,
he
very
looked
inefficient.
very inefficient. That is the perfect description of Florida's offense last week. So that's why I think they're going to have to score some points in this game.
Yeah, which it is at Florida. That's a tough environment to go into. Those jorts wearing crazies are going to be going wild. So
you won't get me started on them, don't you?
No, I'll say. Anyway, okay. Well, you already went over that one, so I won't touch base. But I do like the South Florida 17.5 there. There's an interesting game here between two teams that were high expectations going into the season, and they have both kind of sputtered. We got Army at Kansas State. That's a funky matchup to me. Army looked. They started out the game great last week, and then they just fell apart. And Kansas State hasn't gotten it together the whole season so far. We've got what is it, 46.5. Got a pretty low point total there, and then you're giving Army 17.5 points. Like that's a weird combo to me. So I do lean the Army spread in this game. I'm taking a lot of the away underdogs for whatever reason, and that's
Same here, man. Same here.
Typically a terrible formula to go with.
Not when the numbers add up. It's not.
I might be getting baited into these, but I do like Army in that game. Because if anything, I could just see them keeping it close in a low-scoring game. And they can break it open and find their stride. So that's going to be my play this week on Army and Kansas State. I got Army plus 17.5.
I like it. My official play on this game is the over.
Okay.
And I got it at 47, so it has ticked down a bit, and that's okay.
Yeah.
For two things. One, Kansas State has got some legitimate concerns on their defense, man.
Well, not just defense, their offense doesn't look so good either.
Complete team issues, but defensively, I think they're not what we expected, and we certainly aren't seeing the play out of Avery Johnson that we all thought we would see. And the other reason is Army actually threw the football last week.
Mm-hmm.
Either 14, 15 passing attempts. I don't think Army's going to have to throw the football that much in this game. I think Army's just going to flat run it down their throat.
Yeah.
And I think they're going to force. I think they're going to force Kansas to play some catch up. I think Army first half might actually be a good play in this. Sidewise, I haven't been able to convince myself to take Army yet.
Yeah.
But I think we're gonna see some points. I think this could be a 31-27 type game because I think Army's rushing attack, and they're throwing some passes in there, keep Kansas State from stacking the box on them, and I think this one could have some fireworks.
Yeah, I'm riding with the Army on this one in a close game. Close game.
I think it is close. I don't think it's a blowout either way.
The last one that I wanted to touch base on, I can't even actually find a line for it, and there may not be one. Where was it? It was the New Mexico and Idaho State game. I don't see a line for it though, so there may not be any action on that game.
Let me check my FCS board. I've got an FCS board here. Let's see if it's on that one.
I think New Mexico's a pretty okay team. They've got some firepower. There may not be I'm not seeing a line for that game, so we won't even waste our time on that one.
I do not see a line on it either.
Yeah, let's just move on.
Yeah, can't speak to that one. Can't speak to that one at all. So
let's touch on one in conference game for this week. I mean, it's not a SEC matchup, but we've got a conference team playing.
We do,
and it's a conference team that we all love dearly. We got Vanderbilt going to Virginia Tech, and Vandy's getting 2.5 points. I want to talk about this game. What do you think?
Well, I took Virginia Tech minus 1.5.
And now they've moved to 2.5. Yeah.
It's moved to 2.5 now. Back when Diego Poverty went on the Bussin' with the Boys podcast and ran his mouth, I did a little short podcast myself in response to it and said then that this will be loss number 1.
Yeah, I can see that.
4 or 5 losses that they can expect this year. Going into Blacksburg, that's no joke, number 1.
Yeah.
And 2, Diego didn't just piss off Tennessee fans,
right?
Or SEC fans. Like, he basically just said that, college football is, Nashville's the epicenter of college football, and the standard is to win championships at Vanderbilt and all this other crap. So I know Virginia Tech doesn't have the same heartfelt investment in that commentary that we do, but don't think that they're not aware of what he said. And I hope that he's run his mouth some more this week to give them something to put up on the bulletin board. I think Virginia Tech can take them.
You had that feeling early in the year before we even saw either of these teams play, and now we've got some film. We've got some film to look at them. Virginia Tech went to South Carolina last week, and I know the score doesn't show it, but that was quite honestly a 1-possession game.
It was.
If the Gamecocks didn't pull out that punt return, I mean that was still a 1-score game.
Was.
And then Sellers hit a deep ball, but still, so that made the score look lopsided. But Virginia Tech was very much in that game late in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, and we
against
know
a team and a quarterback at South Carolina that is a lot better than what I think Vanderbilt is. So
I certainly think their environment is much more difficult to play in. And
yeah,
I feel like Sellers is, I mean, he's been in the preseason Heisman conversation, and he's still listed on the odds board for the Heisman. So I'm not as sold on him as some other people are, but I got to believe he's in a class above Diego Poverty.
He's definitely better than Diego. I mean, there's no question. But
yeah,
I'm kind of with you. Even RG3 came out and was like, "Oh yeah, Lenore Sellers, he's Heisman candidate number 1." And I don't know what game he watched last week, but I certainly didn't watch the same game. That was just wildly. I guess I should say I was mildly unimpressed.
Yeah, and I think that South Carolina's got better players on defense than Vanderbilt does. Again, I'm going to touch on the environment because playing in South Carolina is difficult. We've had trouble there in the past.
We're not going to talk about that.
We're not. You're exactly right.
We're not going to talk about that.
Virginia Tech.
Well, South Carolina's got a
rocket.
Very good defensive line. Very good defensive line. They get to the quarterback. They pressured. It's Chiron, right? Chiron all game.
Yes.
And he made it happen. They played a great game. I was kind of crossing my fingers, hoping they'd win. I'm not the biggest fan of South Carolina. But I definitely think they take care of it at home against Vandy. And man, it would be nice to see Vandy get knocked down a couple pegs.
Yeah, I'd love to see Virginia Tech beat them by 2 scores.
Yeah,
I really would.
So you've got the -1.5, which I'm sure is pretty decent odds. They've moved it to 2.5, and I want to say it's -120 there, or sorry, -110. But even the money line's like -120 for Virginia Tech. You could take Virginia Tech in any fashion in this game, and I think that's the way to go.
I think so too. It would take some kind of miraculous last minute Felipe Franks kind of Hail Mary bullcrap pass. What I
bringing up painful memories.
I'll learn one day, man. My own mental health sometimes gets sacrificed. I mean, yeah, you're looking at it's -128 on FanDuel for the Virginia Tech money line. It's actually -105 at -2.5. So if field goals basically even money. So yeah, I agree. I don't think there's a wrong way to bet that if you're a believer in Virginia Tech. And
just take Tech and
Vanderbilt can't win big games on the road. They can't win big games.
Well, they did win that one last season. They started the season off with a big win last season. Who was that again? I don't even remember who that was against. Their first game of the year last year. They won one that everybody. It was an ACC team.
Let's see.
Virginia.
It may have been. Let's see. No. They played Virginia Tech at home last year in their opener.
Oh, did they?
They won 30,
they beat them, right?
34-27 in overtime, yes. So it took overtime to beat them last year in Nashville.
Now you
and then just because I like to speak facts, and they turn around after beating Alcorn State and lose to Georgia State. So that makes me feel even better about Virginia Tech, knowing that I forgot that. Yeah, I forgot that they opened with them last year.
We got a revenge game at home into the home and home series. Yeah, Virginia Tech's to play.
Enter Sandman because it's coming. Give me
So
Virginia Tech.
That's all the interesting games that I wanted to take care of this week. Did we touch on any NFL, or want to touch base on any NFL, or talk about the Vols game? Or
yeah, we can do all that. I'm going to throw out a couple of bonus bets that I didn't share Wednesday. I was saving these for you and I. We already touched on one of them.
Secrets.
Yeah, those secret plays that you have to watch the podcast all the way through to get. I did take Army Kansas State over 47. I didn't put a lot on this. This is a quarter unit play, so this is a sprinkle.
Yeah.
I did, however, put a good chunk on USC minus 29 against Georgia Southern. In fact, I'm including this in my best bet package this week. Clay Helton, of course, the coach at Georgia Southern, making a return trip to the West Coast. I'm a numbers guy, as everybody will or has come to learn. Georgia Southern gave up 527 yards of offense last week to Fresno State. Southern Cal hung 597 yards of total offense against Missouri State last week. And 364 of those yards came in the air.
In the air.
Southern Cal
29 flat.
Roll Georgia Southern. Yes. 29 flat. That may that's where I got. Let's see. Just verify the official. I hate living out of state because I always have to verify my location and download a plugin every time it times out on me. Let's see. If I were Southern Cal, where would I be? All right, that game is 28.5 on FanDuel at minus 115. Over-under on that game is 60.5. Now,
that's slam dunk.
If it gets there, Southern Cal's going to have to do all the scoring.
Those numbers make 0 sense to me. Those numbers make 0 sense. Those numbers scream USC.
Yeah, especially when you've got a team that bleeds yards through the air and a quarterback that threw for almost 4 miles last week.
That makes absolutely no sense to me. The total is
I didn't understand
60.
it either. That's why I jumped on it.
And
they are easily 4 touchdowns better than Georgia Southern. And they scored 70 points last week, man. They flat slap put the hammer down on Missouri State.
Yeah. Yeah, so they're not going to let off the gas.
72. Yeah. I mean, they all gas, no brakes. I think the same thing this week.
That might be my favorite play of the week.
Yeah, with Clay Helton coming back to town, I think they want to show him a good time. So fireworks special.
That's a really good find.
And the other one I like, and this is my upset special of the week. And what makes it special is the odds on it. I'm taking Rice on the money line against Houston.
Okay.
I got it at plus 500.
Wow.
Houston struggled mightily against Stephen F. Austin last week.
Uh-huh.
And Rice runs this kind of motion option type offense it's kind of in that same breath with like Air Force and, just those veer option, triple option, all that stuff. Just a lot of movement in their offense. And I think Rice can catch Houston sleeping in this one. So I am betting money on this game. I'm not advocating that you do or anybody else do that. But This is one that I kind of kind of sniffed out at big money. And I also have an upset money line parlay. We talked about the road dogs marking this week. I've got Virginia over NC State. I've got Texas State over UTSA. I've got Ohio over West Virginia. And I'm throwing this Rice-Houston game in there as well. Yeah. $5 pays $362.
Wow.
Now, I know Rice is the big one in there. But I think those other three, I think the wrong teams are favored in those other three games. Ohio's at home.
I love the Rice bet, by the way. I love that because I'm you know what, I'm a big fan of uniform games, and I don't know if you saw this week, but Rice has some pretty sweet digs that they're going to be wearing for this game this week.
I saw those and I thought the same thing. I thought, man, those are tough.
You're coming home. You got the sweet digs. Yeah, that's a bad combination for Houston.
Yeah, playing in-state rival and a team that just looked disjointed last week against Stephen F. Austin. Updated line is now plus 460. Rice on the money line. 13.5 is the spread. So this is a major underdog. So not at all advocating for anybody to put American money on this game or this parlay, but I love to do little things like that. Throw $5 at it.
Yeah, it's good to throw out or to take a long shot every now and then, especially when you had a big week like last week.
Yeah, and that's really what it's predicated. It's more predicated on the fact that I've got some of the books money to play with. So while I've got the knife in them, I'm gonna try to twist it. So
it's a heat check, man. You come down.
That's right.
Pop 5 threes. You got to just shoot it from the logo after that.
That's right. What like they said in The Hangover, you never walk away from a heater. So I'm going to stay on them. I'm going to keep pressing. Right. You asked me about NFL. I don't have any deep dive stuff on NFL yet. I do like the Chargers tonight in this game.
Yeah,
I think the defense, their ability to run the football is gonna give Kansas City some issues. And let me look. I do have a ticket in. That's the season long. That one's not gonna work. Oh, no, never mind. I do not. It was last night.
Yeah, 2 games tonight in the NFL. That's crazy.
There are 2.
Yeah, we got the Chiefs and Chargers and Giants and Commanders. Oh, never mind. Giants and Commanders is Sunday. My bad.
Yeah. I was like,
like it's today.
Yeah, that's Chargers. Chargers are +3. It's plus 142 on the money line, and it's 47.5 total. So I kind of like the under, and I definitely like the Chargers on the money line. I think because these out of country games, they always go under. So
I didn't realize that. Are they playing in?
I think they're playing in Brazil.
Playing in Mexico City or something?
Brazil.
Brazil. Okay.
Yeah. So kind of like the under in that, and I think both these teams, pretty sound defenses. They both like to run the football, and I think the world gets introduced to Omarion Hampton tonight. The rookie for San Diego, or for the Chargers out of North Carolina. Boy, he got out at the right time, didn't he?
It's true. Yeah.
Lord, I was almost embarrassed sitting there watching it.
Man, I don't know how much of that was UNC being unprepared, or how much to think of like TCU just looked really, really good.
Yeah, I think a little of both. I think a lot of folks maybe slept on TCU a little bit because they just ran the ball at will. And man, did North Carolina's
And
defense look
they were
terrible.
fast and all over the field. Man, they were
Yeah, they
fast.
were flying around.
You know, they reminded me the way they played that game reminded me of those 2010s Oregon Duck teams that were just like speed demons, you know, with Marcus Mariota. They looked like one of those Oregon teams, and that's scary.
Yeah. Yeah, and Josh Hoover's pretty good quarterback. I've
He
played a lot
played
of his
very
player
well.
props over the last couple seasons, and he looked every bit of it Monday night. And North Carolina looked just completely, like you said. I mean, that's a word I haven't really heard anybody say yet. It's unprepared. Yeah, they looked unprepared to play. They were lost all game, and they just gave up gashing runs after gashing runs. They didn't have any answers. So
I feel like part of it is Belichick wasn't really adjusted to the college game. You know, the college game players are not as fast as NFL guys, and I almost feel like he had prepared them to be more skillful than they were, if that makes any sense.
no, yeah.
Like he's
It
expecting
does.
gaps to get filled a lot faster than they actually do.
Yeah, and it looked like there was a lot of, I won't say read and react necessarily, but it looked like they were slow to react sometimes to what TCU was doing. And I understand that he had, I think they said 70 transfers. I mean, that's a lot.
Right.
That's a lot of new people to figure out in a relatively short time. But man, it just did not look like it did not look like an FBS team out there.
It looked
It really looked like an
like a
FCS
high school team playing against
junior college team. It did. They
I
had
don't
that
even know
first
give them
drive on
JUCO
offense,
level.
and they did nothing the rest of the game.
Yeah. Right.
So they're
well
in
until
trouble.
you put the backup in. You put the backup QB in, and he actually played better than the starter.
Yeah. Johnson, I thought looked great, and I even looked at Mrs. Hammer and I said, "Well, they've been playing the wrong quarterback." I said because I didn't know Max Johnson was even able to step onto the field, which is remarkable.
No, and he got in there and he
he's even
balled.
out there.
Yeah.
So, yeah, man, I don't know. They got some.
Yeah, you go.
They got a lot to figure out in Chapel Hill. And I wonder too, is Bill even taking this seriously?
Losing a leg.
Yeah,
man, with his stuff, with that little girlfriend and everything. Yeah, I don't know,
dude.
That's one of the goofiest stories.
I can tolerate Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce better than I can Bill Belichick and this Jordan chick. Like she's down there on the sideline.
I actually
literally looked like she was asking, "Daddy, can I have some concession stand money?"
Right.
Well, Grandpa, not
I
Daddy.
can't. I don't feel like I've seen that ever.
I mean, when have you ever seen a coach's wife or girlfriend or player's wife, girlfriend on the sideline during the game?
During the game, never.
The whole thing's just a big publicity stunt to me. Me and a buddy of mine talked about this a few weeks ago on a podcast, and that's what I had said. I said it just seems like it's a publicity thing, and I wonder if Bill is the gateway to getting his son the head coaching position when he says he's retiring. Because his son's on staff. I forget which coordinator he is, offense or defense, but I think this is simply a means to an end. And I don't know how serious Bill's taking this, because I didn't see a whole lot of emotion out of Bill, which I know we never really do. But just the way he's handling the media, he's so much more gentle, and his reaction to some of the boneheaded stuff that he saw out there he would never have responded that way coaching in the NFL.
Right. No.
So
It's strange. That's a light way to put it.
yeah, everything about it is bad, and he may set this program back 5 years if he doesn't get this thing turned around, because it looked incredibly out of sorts Monday night. So, well, I don't think there's any real threat this weekend in ETSU. What are your thoughts on the Vols?
The only thing I saw is that we might get some storms for game time.
Fabulous.
Which that's never fun. We're gonna win the game. That's fairly given. You're not really gonna get a whole lot of reads from Joey or the rest of the offense. I mean, I'd be surprised if they play much more than first quarter. Probably first half, but
yeah, I expect
in a perfect world, I kind of don't want them to play more than the first quarter because I don't want these guys getting injured if the field's going to be kind of wet.
Yeah, and we've already seen enough injuries from week one. We don't need to have a mass unit going in against Georgia the following week. So yeah, right. I don't see the need to show too much. I know Josh doesn't care that much about point spreads and point totals and all that stuff. So I'm staying away completely from any action on the game.
I could see us running it up and winning by 60, and I could see us kind of just taking care of business and getting out of there healthy.
Yeah, I could see a 31-13, or I could see 48-3. It just depends on.
I don't think we'll give them many points. I do think that we'll be pretty stingy, especially after our defense got a little bit. They probably want to make a little bit of a statement. So I do think that we'll keep them. I don't know if I were going to take any bet, I don't know what ETSU's total is supposed to be, but I'd take their under.
Let's take a look at that, because that's one thing I haven't looked at in this game is team totals. Just bear with me here a moment while I get back on. I flipped over.
I can probably get it pulled up here.
Yeah, one of us will find it.
My guess is that it's probably like 6.5 or something. Is what I
thought maybe of like 13.5.
If it's 13.5, they don't even have it on spread on FanDuel.
Oh, they don't have it. Okay, yeah, that's where I am.
They might have it on. Although I didn't even see the game on DraftKings earlier. Let's see.
Yeah, and I have another source.
They don't even have us on DraftKings. See if ESPN has a line. No, I don't want to look at tickets. There we go.
No, they've not put team totals out.
Yeah.
Just yet.
Yeah. Well, if we end up getting that before game time, and I would think that it's going to be like 6.5 or so, maybe 7.5, and I would take that. I'd take the under on it.
Yeah, I think they're going to struggle. Struggle to move the ball, struggle to score some points, or they have a fluky, special teams play or something, some silly turnover that could cost us. That's the only thing I see being a real threat to them making their numbers. So But hopefully we get in there, we handle business, we see some improvement in some of those short intermediate passing areas that we bled to Syracuse and just get out of there healthy. That's the main
Do you
goal.
know who their QB is?
Yeah. Shoot, what's his name?
It's McNamara.
Cade McNamara. That's right. I was going to say which school, but he's only been at like 7 since well, he was at Michigan, and then he went somewhere I forgot. And then, yeah,
he went to Iowa.
Yeah, that's right.
To lead
So
probably one of the worst offenses that ever existed.
yeah,
Power
no,
football.
yeah, that's
They did get a little bit better last year. He had a decent season last year. But still, I mean, he only threw for 6 touchdowns.
Yeah.
All of last season. 6 touchdowns,
Yeah.
5 interceptions. That's not mega productive there.
Yeah, it's similar to that volleyball player's numbers out in Westwood. Not much difference in the touchdown to interception ratio.
Right.
And he had a lot better offensive line around him in Iowa. So it'll be a long day.
But it is pretty interesting to see a name that we haven't or that we've seen before at such a small school.
Yeah, true. And it's kind of tough to really gauge how good he is based on simply what offense he played in. So where they throw the football only if somebody's on fire. So it'll be interesting to see what that looks like. But I think they're going to see a whole lot of Tyree West and Joshua Josephs and whichever linebacker gets the call, because I don't think it's going to be very pretty for ETSU. And no offense, ETSU, we love you otherwise.
We gave up.
Nothing personal,
right? We gave up a good number. We gave up more points than we're used to giving up last weekend. But our defense, I felt like they looked really, really, in some ways, better than we've looked in the past. I just felt like we were getting around the field really, really well. I do think that we're going to have a good defense this season.
Yeah, I feel like we are too, and I think and credit Syracuse. They, in the second half, they kind of found some openings underneath and in the middle that we kept giving up there for a little stretch. We kind of got on our heels, but I think the front seven is phenomenal.
Yeah,
we gotta quit using our 8-9 deeps because of these injuries. We got to stay healthy out there. And then, of course, secondary is still a little banged up with Ricky Gibson, Jermon McCoy, but Colton Hood, every bit as good as advertised. Love seeing what he brought. Jordan Ross had a good game. Of course, Arian Carter's just a beast. He and Sealander, man, they're a pair back there. So, and Spillman much faster than probably what I realized, because he got in there like a bullet a couple times. So, this defense is going to be beastly all season long. I think they're going to give us a real shot.
I agree.
And then having an actual quarterback play in the position instead of a volleyball player clearly made a difference for our offense. So I think the more comfortable Joey gets and the more comfortable offensive line gets playing together, because they were mauling some people out there too. All in all, man, I was very pleased with what I saw for game 1 with new quarterback, totally remade offensive line when David Sanders is healthy and back out there. I think they're going to be a force. So I'm pretty happy with what I saw.
100%. I was very happy. My expectations of the season are renewed.
Yes, very much so, which I didn't really get down on them because I've been telling people for months that we upgraded at quarterback.
Yeah.
This I'm going to leave you kid would only help us, not hurt us. So by leaving, so hopefully Joey's the one get us back to the playoff. So all right, brother. Is there anything else you want to talk about? Cover?
That's all I'm going to hit on for today. No.
All right.
I don't give him too hard of a time.
Well, we'll work on that.
I'll have to make,
all right, my friend.
like a shampoo joke for him or something one of these days.
That's right. We need, just ask him what kind of shampoo he uses. I'm hoping we can get like everybody on here one day and
that'd be cool.
Talk. Not necessarily any given topic because I don't think we'll need one. I think that'd be pretty entertaining, but hopefully we can work that out one day.
We can do it like PTI used to do.
That's right. Yeah. Just throw it out there. If I need to get a little buzzer or something when as soon as Ferris starts to speak, I'll just hit it. Tell him his time's up.
Probably call it TMI with Ferris on
there. That would definitely be too many idiots is what we could call it.
There you go.
For sure. So, but man, I look forward to seeing how these play out. Obviously, start stacking some wins, and then we'll plan on doing it again next week.
Sounds good, man.
Thanks for your time. I appreciate all the insight and the picks, and good luck to everybody. Make sure you follow Loose on Twitter. It's just at LooseBets. Follow, subscribe to the podcast. It's the only place you'll get these picks. I may throw a couple out there for you in the Twitterverse, but we put too much time and effort into this just to hand them out for free. So it's going to cost you a subscribe and a follow. So make sure you follow all these guys, subscribe to the podcast, and just come win money with us. I don't know what else to tell you. So, Luce, my friend, I appreciate you. Look forward to it again, and we will see y'all next time.
We'll see some games this week. You have a good one.